and welcome to your favorite paranormal podcast, Into the Paranormal, with your hosts, Kevin Leonard and Corey, the Ghost Magnet Beam. How you doing, Corey?
Well, I'm not a ghost magnet. I wish I was, but I'm doing pretty good. Uh, Finally getting over a sickness. It feels
Yeah,
very strange. I'm recording a little differently too. Um, so much has happened. I don't even. So much. I don't even know if we have done a podcast since our last investigation at the school. So
no. I believe
it's
our
been,
last podcast, wasn't it the birthday bash?
gosh, it might have been.
I
So
believe it was.
it's been some time. Of course, we apologize, but our lives have been absolutely
Chaos.
ridiculous
Yeah.
outside.
Yep.
So,
Holidays have come and gone. Family issues. Not making excuses. We're back. We're going to get this ball going again. Thank you
we've
for
said that
staying with us.
before.
But that's why I didn't say we're gonna, make it, you know, week to week like I always do. We're gonna try our best. So if you're hanging with us, thank you so much. We have gotten new subscribers on our YouTube channel. So if you're here on YouTube and you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, press that bell icon, all that fun stuff. And thank you so
Smash the
much.
like button.
Thank you so much for coming along with us on this journey. We have a lot of stuff that we're still working on in store. So just bear with us and it'll be worth the wait, I promise.
Yeah, and let me say happy Thanksgiving, happy Labor Day, happy Veterans Day. What else did we miss?
Happy Halloween.
Halloween. Can you
How was your
believe it?
Halloween?
Good. I can't. I can barely remember it at this point. It's been, I think. You know what sucks is I remember last year we actually said that Halloween this year we dress up.
And
If
do
you
a
go
show.
back and yeah,
Yeah.
but things happen, so that didn't happen. Hopefully, maybe
Maybe
we'll
next
figure that
year.
out.
Or we might just randomly dress up and pretend it's Halloween. It's Halloween for us any day, all the
Yeah,
time.
pretty
So
much. Right,
it is what it
exactly.
is. I think
Um,
Halloween for us, Tracy and I, was probably around the last normalcy in our lives. We were still pretty hectic with work and everything, but it was fun. I went as the Fiend.
that's right. That's right.
But
I went as me.
oh, that's scary.
I'm scary enough at that point.
Yeah,
Um, Something that I think the viewers will find quite funny. I just had a coworker get a second job, and
that's hilarious.
well, yes, this is the funny part is where the job is. Um,
Where?
it is a place called Chica's Cafe, and it used to be an Italian restaurant. Well, that restaurant is in the bottom floor of the Artisan Inn,
Hmm.
where we have
We've
investigated
been there
before.
before.
We have a few times.
Hmm.
So, I didn't know that's where it was, and I got to message her, and I said, "Hey, that place is haunted." And she's
A little
like,
bit.
"What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've investigated there, and they have it. They see an apparition in the basement. We heard laughing when we were there in the dining
Hmm.
room." And she's like, "I was in the basement by myself. Don't tell me that." I'm like, "Well, whoops."
Yeah.
So
Well, you
I
weren't by yourself.
I found that interesting. I think if I remember correctly, it was an apparition of a man in a sombrero for some
I think
reason.
so. I think
Which is
that was
funny because
several years ago.
it was a
10
decade
years
ago.
ago? More?
It was more
12
than
years
10 years
ago?
ago now. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
12, 13 years ago now. Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of funny, and I brought it up, and she's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" I was like, "I didn't realize."
Yeah.
But that was fun. Also, a lot of paranormal news. We here at Into the Paranormal do want to send a heartfelt message to Chip Coffey, who is dealing with an illness and in the hospital. Amy Bruni did recently, or she had posted an update today saying that, he's having a lot of breathing problems, but they have a plan with that all the doctors, and he's in good care, and he is expected to come out okay. So, whether you like mediums or not, Chip Coffey is a staple of the paranormal community. And from what we've heard, are just a really nice
Yeah.
person.
And not only that, he's is a fellow human. So
Yep,
that being said, we wish him all the best. Definitely in our thoughts, sending good vibes, speedy recovery. Hopefully, he'll be out of the hospital and back to his shenanigans soon.
absolutely, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And talking about something else in the news, my entire Facebook feed has been nothing but things with drones.
Yep.
Drones and UFOs, that has been like the talk of the town.
Yeah. And
Um,
it just seemed like, was it the beginning of this year that it was the Miami Mall aliens and
yep.
the UFO disclosures and everything? And then we are almost at the end of the year and right back into, in that cusp of UFO, UAP
Mhm.
topics
It
with
it
the
hasn't
drones.
it hasn't stopped. It has been the year of the UFO.
Right.
That's been really one of the mainstream, and not just in paranormal circles, mainstream news.
Yeah. And because
Which
there's a lot of like Homeland Security news, and they're speaking on it and saying that it's not from a foreign country. They just don't know who and or what it is. So
and
in
that's not to say
that,
it's extraterrestrial, but
right, but that does fall into that direct description of a UFO, an unidentified flying object or unidentified aerial phenomena. It's in
right.
the air, it's flying, and it's unknown. So
Yep.
it's a UFO in all intents and purposes. But
Right. Right. They
um,
also some of them, these drones were flying over Trump Bedminster in New Jersey, which obviously is, with him being the president elect, that is a security issue.
right,
Um, you'd have them in Jacksonville,
yeah,
somewhat right in between us.
right. I mean,
Um,
that's very recent because I believe it started in New Jersey. And
yeah,
Tracy actually pointed out to me and sent me something on Facebook that they was just last week or recently, within the week, have been spotted in Jacksonville, Florida. Um,
it's crazy
uh,
how fast those things
Actually,
um, spread.
I have the Associated Press pulled up, and I'll read a snippet of what they're saying. Um, Tom's River, a U.S. senator, has called for mysterious drones spotted flying at night over sensitive areas in New Jersey and other parts of the mid-Atlantic region to be quote unquote shot down if necessary, even as it remains unclear who owns the unmanned aircraft. He goes on to say, we should be doing some very urgent intelligence analysis and take them out of the skies, especially if they're flying over airports or military bases. Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut said, so it's a different senator, said Thursday as concerns about the drones spread across Capitol Hill. Oh, Tom's River was I guess, the person from the Associated Press.
Tom's
Uh,
River is a city in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah, Tom's River, New Jersey. Makes sense. But the way they have it written, it says like Tom's River. I thought it was a weird name, Tom's, but I
Oh
wasn't gonna
man,
judge.
it's also a strange name for a town. So
Yeah, yeah. So it's like
I
people
mean,
people in New York, in the New York region, are also concerned that the drones may be sharing airspace with commercial airlines, he said, demanding more transparency from the Biden administration. The White House said Thursday that a review of the reported sightings shows that many of them are actually manned aircraft being flown lawfully, while White House National Security spokesman John Kirby said there were no reported sightings in any restricted airspace. He said the U.S. Coast Guard has not uncovered any foreign involvement from coastal vessels. We have no
what sounds like
evidence. Hmm?
what just sounds like no one has a damn clue.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, and
Or
it's right here. It says, we have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or public safety threat or have a foreign nexus, Kirby said, echoing statements from the Pentagon and New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy. And right here in the Action News Jax of Jacksonville, Florida, a day after federal government addressed reports of mysterious drones spotted flying over cities in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. I thought it was just New Jersey, huh? Some people in Jacksonville are saying they're seeing the drones here. Jack Jones has been flying drones as a hobbyist in the area for a decade, but what he saw on his trip home from work Tuesday was unlike anything he'd seen before. I will include these links in today's show notes and description on YouTube so you can click on them yourself and read. They are full of pictures and videos and all that fun stuff that we're not going to show here. But like you said, they have no clue what they are. I did
I mean,
read that they said that they are not from the Iranian mothership, so they don't think they're from another country. They don't think that they're man-made, so to speak. They just don't know. But I mean, these drones are just flapping around over cities and all over the country, apparently. That's
two
pretty
things are
scary.
flapping. Two
Yeah,
things are flapping. We got fish
they're
flapping. We got drones flapping.
just flapping all over
Everything's
the place.
it's just flapping around. Yeah, it is. When you have a bunch of unidentified drones, I mean, uh, you know, I don't know how it's not a national security risk, but
Well, I
I'm
mean, it
not.
is, but I,
Something.
I was gonna say whatever side of the aisle you stand on, it doesn't matter. When something is a national security risk, it's a risk to everyone, whether it's from Earth or not. And people are
That
starting to get to where they want answers. You know, not to sound like
that's
Zach Bagans,
that's how I was about. We want answers. That's exactly what just went through my head.
but I mean, people want answers. They want to know, and the UFOs, aliens, things in the sky
Would you
are
say
a
they want to believe?
they want to believe. I want to
Mm.
believe.
Sure.
But so moving right along, we do have one more thing to talk about before we bring our guest in for today. That is January 18th. We are already kicking off 2025, and we will be in Deltona at the Deltona Regional Library for a Paranormal 101 equipment expo type thing. Doing Q&As, all that fun stuff. We are starting the advertisement early. We want to see as many people as we can here. Excuse my camera. I can see it in the corner of my eye starting to glitch up or whatever, but I'm going to work on that at some point. But we want to see as many of you guys come out, support your local library, meet Kappa, hang out with us. It's going to be a fun time, free for the family, or a free, fun, family friendly event. One of these days, we'll learn how to talk. But yeah, that again, that
Maybe.
is January 18th, 2 p.m. at the Deltona Regional Library in Deltona, Florida. Come hang out with us. I will be there. Corey will be there. Kappa will be there. Into the Paranormal, all that fun stuff. We will be there, and we hope you will too.
Yeah, please join us. We always love these events. It's always fun to talk about our passion, and we always get a lot of good questions, which
Yep.
I love to answer. And hopefully, we'll be able to show you my second favorite. Favorite. See, here we go. Now it's rubbing off. Favorite. That's not a word. My
Yeah, we're gonna try to
second
show his
favorite,
second favorite EVP.
and it's a good one, so
It
you
is
don't
good.
want to miss it.
It is good.
And,
So,
and we'll have.
and yeah. So we're gonna try to do something different at this one too that we haven't done at other ones, but I'm not gonna say too much because technology is a thing. But anyway, that being said, we're going to bring our guest in for the evening. He has a former
That's
member
formerly.
of
That was a
yeah.
word. You're
Yeah, it
right.
is. It's a word, but not the word I was trying to go for.
You could
He
have
is a
said formerly of Kappa.
yeah.
It would
So yeah, but here we are. Form, formerly of Kappa, Mike Atencio, he was with the team for quite a while, very knowledgeable in the paranormal. We're going to bring him in right after this, and it's not going to be like an ad or anything. I'm just going to edit and he'll be here. But, so, we're going to bring him in and we're going to talk about how we're going to push, how he wants to push the paranormal into the realm of science and out of the pseudoscience. So I talked to him briefly about this before, and he brings up a lot of good topics. Very, very smart person. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get Mike in with us. All right, and we are back from that little edit. We are with Mike Atencio tonight. We are going to be talking about, I believe you said it was phantomology, how to, yeah, how to bring the paranormal out of a pseudoscience into
pseudoscience, yeah,
yeah, out of
not suicide, yeah,
into mainstream science.
mainstream science, yeah.
That's us. It's we have speaking problems, but it's okay. We've accepted.
That's all right. Yeah, I trip over my tongue a whole lot. I get that from sixth graders, so let me make sure my camera's flipping right. There we go.
Yep,
I before COVID, right before COVID, I had been trying for several years with the university, trying to get my grant to study the paranormal. As you guys know, I got my master's in psychology, and I was teaching psychology full time. And I piggybacked in with the department, the computer science department, for big data. And they got like this huge grant from the National Science Foundation. And because of the type of project that I had created, they reviewed it, the university reviewed it. There's like this monster process you got to go through. And they finally approved everything because it's not going to do any harm to anybody. I got the green light, and I went, okay, cool. And they let me know that I got my grant for trying to prove life after death. And one of the things that makes it, and it's the only person who ever got one from what I heard from NSF, was that I was the only person they've ever given a grant to. And the reason for it was actually based on the real science that could be validated. And a lot of things that I had to go through at the university made it really difficult because, of course, everybody rolls their eyes and they smile. And I'm an older guy, so they're just like being patient. Oh, he's what a nice little guy. You know, he's like, and you're just like, do you realize I'm a lot smarter than you? Yeah, so I've been doing this for almost 60 years, right?
Right. And,
so, I understand what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and a lot of times, because we coin ourselves, because you were with Kappa for a while too, and we coin ourselves as a scientific-based paranormal research team, which several teams do.
Exactly.
Yes. And what that is it's loosely in the scientific field. What we do is we assess the situation when we get a call from the client. We set a hypothesis, we set experiments, and we set tests, and we see how these tests correlate with our hypothesis, and we'll try different methods or whatnot. So how would you, to push in the grand scheme of things, to push the paranormal field out of that pseudoscience phase? Because what we do, yes, it's a scientific based investigation because we use equipment. We don't go in and, as Kappa, we don't go in based on our feelings, this, that, and the other, and we don't present that to our clients because we can't prove our feelings. You might feel something that I don't feel. The client may feel something that I don't feel, and I can't say, well, I felt, a cold mist, and that was accompanied by such and such. So, boom, you have a ghost. We can't prove my feeling has anything to do with the evidence that we capture. So we bring our captured evidence to the client or whoever we're investigating for, and bring it back to our findings, our reveal or whatnot. So how would we be able to, as a whole, as the paranormal field, move out of that pseudoscience phase into general science, where scientists can back us up? How would you think that we could do that?
Well, for you and I have talked about this a lot, many times. One of the things that the skeptics love to throw is, well, you can't prove this because you can't do the scientific method. Well, the scientific method isn't something we would use for understanding human behavior. Now, dead or alive, we're people, we're animals. Animals are animals, humans are an animal type. If you want to study them, they're not robots. Every single one of them is an individual. They're going to behave completely different, like you were just talking about. I'm feeling cold. There's a breeze, things like that. The problem with that is that there's no way you could do that even with living people standing in front of you using the scientific method. So this is just their excuse to kind of down everybody about this and go, you don't know what you're talking about. It's all baloney. It's fake. And if you've ever had these experiences, seen full body apparitions, I have. I've seen stuff move. And there's no explanation. Unless it's happened to you, you're not going to believe it. It's hard to believe it. It's a leap of faith. The thing is, once it does, your entire life changes because you have the epiphany of, there's something here beyond what we've ever known before. There's a continuance of life after this. So if you're going to study something like that, let's look at how we would study human beings that are alive in front of us, because you're going to use the same exact methods here as you would with beings on the other side of the veil, these energy sources. It's presumed that our souls, and even the religious people out there probably can't, I would hope they wouldn't argue with this, our souls are our personality. All of our experiences throughout our entire life is what creates who we are. Those experiences, those behaviors are what scientists study in the social sciences. It's very simple, and everybody makes it complicated and difficult. It's not. The worst thing you can be is a researcher in the middle of everybody while they're doing this, and they're aware that you're doing the research. When we do social studies type research, where like psychologists and stuff, we want to, like these tribes that are in really remote places that haven't changed in thousands of years, we don't want to be in the middle of the tribe, because right there we're changing how the tribe behaves. So it's better for us to go and then just hook up our equipment, put our cameras up, and we observe them from afar, where their normal life, maybe they knew we were there, but now they don't know we're there anymore. Now we just get to watch them, however they're behaving. If anybody ever saw the movie about the gorillas and the doctor who went in there and tried to learn and live with all the gorillas, I want to say gorillas in the mist, but I'm not sure if that's right. That's what she did. She was. Oh, it wasn't like a horror movie. It was one of her doctors where I want to say Jane or something, but she sat there and lived amongst the gorillas and got to see how they behaved, and it was a really big deal. And she was actually doing exactly what I'm talking about. It's the research of observing, writing it down, but not interfering in what's happening right there. See, now when we go in and we do investigations, we're hoping to catch the proof of stuff that's going on, but in some cases, we may actually make it where it won't happen just because we're there. Sure. In other cases, it may actually happen a whole lot, but we're the problem. We are screwing up the environment. Whatever's going to happen, if it's happening there normally, like residuals, it's probably going to keep happening under the right circumstance. So if we can get the data, we can show, say this is residual. This happens when this set of data all matches up on all these different sensors. And this is how this does this. Right. And then if you have multiple sensors doing the same thing, you can check and double check. Here's your test, retest right there. We can put that on a graph, plot it, and draw that line. You know, we always hated this in grafting classes and stuff and math, but you can draw this chart. You can see, okay, all of a sudden we got these things that are showing up here. They're not supposed to be in this. So the hard part for us is, we know we know that this property has activity going on, but it's not just enough anymore. If we know this is pretty provocative and it's always going on, we should just set the sensors up and leave. Sit outside, monitor it from afar, and let them do their own thing, and do it over a long course of time. So basically what you would expect is the sensors aren't going to do anything for a long freaking time. And then when activity happens, all of a sudden things are going to just pop out. And that would be really easy to see. But it's digital, it's recorded, there's all different types of data loggers all put in. And you can come back and say, there it is, 3 sets of sensors with 10 different sensors on each unit. You got 30 pieces of equipment here monitoring, and this one with the EMF system in it, that's got the EMF in it, this one goes off, the other 2 didn't when they're on the other side of the house. Something happened here. And we can track the time, the date, the temperature, vibration, static electricity, relative humidity. And these are all the sensors that, in fact, I just got about half of them in. I got all my sensors here.
Right.
I'm getting ready to build these arrays. I got a couple more parts. And if people really want to do this, you identify the place, document. Don't make assumptions about anything. Look at it as if it's nothing there. Because if you can prove nothing's there, then all of a sudden something shows up. You're not trying to prove something's there. You're trying to prove it's not there. It makes you look a lot more professional in that. And that's a hard thing for people to understand. Orbs, come on. Are they significant? Right?
The dreaded orbs.
Yeah, orbs. I mean, this is like everybody's pet peeve thing. It's like, well, but you'll get those people who are like, well, look, I can see them. There's faces in them. It's like, come on.
Right.
Yeah,
this is an interpretation fight.
There's a few things that I really love that you brought up. One, we talk about a leap of faith, and think about it. When Newton had an apple fall on his head, he took a leap of faith, right? It takes a leap of faith to jump into something that is unknown to actually prove its existence. And it took hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, centuries, to prove the work of those scientists from the 1600s or write about something as basic as we see as gravity. So, it does take that leap of faith. And also, you brought up residual, which is my favorite, because we talk about stone tape theory, and that actually has scientific backing to it. There's scientific, evidence that could exist. And we know just how, recordings of things happen, that's possible. So I love, that's one of my favorite versions of a haunting, because you do have that scientific things that you can really grasp onto, and really get that data. So I love that. And I think it will take more people to have that leap of faith. And then, you got the problem is, as a field as a whole, we all have such different methods that I think there will always be part of the field that is, like when it comes to psychics, that's not scientific. It never will be, unless there's something created in the future that can prove brainwave, something that we don't have. But I love that look.
On that, if you don't mind me interrupting, this will be probably something really cool. I just got to reading an article actually in Popular Science, and the Chinese have, along with some other people back and forth around the world, have discovered that we have a quantum, what is it, arm word for it? It's like string theory. In our the myelin ends within our synaptic in our brains. And what's happening is somewhere in there, like whatever happens here can happen on the other side of the universe. Well, inside our synapses on the myelin part of the brain, they have actually discovered that there is the ability, we all have the ability to create networks with other people that we love, people that we hate, businesses. which kind of throws it. It gets a little weird there, but you throw the information out to the universe saying, this is what I want. I really focused on this. I worked hard. I deserve this. You send out all these positive thoughts, and you see this over and over and over again with the people that are super successful financially, emotionally. They just have this drive. We hear the drive. It's a drive. They're just like, they make it. They're the creators of their own universe. Well, that's what they're doing. And because of that, they did this study, and they've been studying this stuff for a long time. I'll leave it to the Chinese, but they've had other countries that aren't socialist countries look into this, and the results have been confirmed. There's something going on at the quantum level within our synapses, within our brains. And that is really cool, because then you start answering the question, the energy levels that are running in this also make it possible for us to be doing other stuff after we die, because that energy is still there.
Right.
So it's weird, but it's tied together. We just haven't figured out from A to B. How's it leaping from this to that? That energy may be just so strongly emotional, or something so traumatic, like a car accident or something, and the spirit doesn't know, hey, it's okay to go on, so they get stuck there. And that's that, what you're saying, the stone tape theory.
Well, as you were saying, we all have this, this ability. You could take 10 people and lead them separately through a house or whatever, and a certain amount of those people, you'll be able to tell, something bad happened here. You don't know what, but you feel it, and maybe that's what it is. There's
a sense. There's an energy there that has been, something has happened. As for mediums, I think they're a tool. You can't say this medium is going to tell me exactly what I want to know, and they're going to be able to know everything about it. They're a tool. Light orbs, little orbs and stuff. They are a little tiny piece of the evidence. By themselves, they have no value. You combine them with all of a sudden a bunch of activity that just happened right at that moment, that's a different story. Does it confirm everything? No. But it's another piece of that puzzle, part of that information, like I was saying, from the different data sources, the different sensors. Now, if you got something like, I've got a light sensor that's going to be, it's like a proximity sensor. So if anything gets in there and your REM pods, if it notices that and it doesn't pick it up on the other two, and it's just out of the blue, it's just right off the bat, what the heck happened? Because it shouldn't happen if nobody's there. It's like, and the hard part for all of us when we start doing this, if people start doing like what I'm doing, I'm going to have all the parts, the whole thing, where everybody can go reproduce all the stuff that I'm doing, use everything the same way, so we can do the test retest, so they can do it on their own. If they follow the procedures and they don't interfere with it, we're going to have a lot of data that is 100% provable. We can say, look, there it is, the black line. Skeptics aren't going to be able to argue with that. Of course they will. There's always those types.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're never going to prove to 100% of the people 100% of the time. It's physically impossible.
There are people that think the Earth is flat.
Yes.
So
I know we never went to the moon.
Yeah.
We didn't go to the moon. The Earth is flat, and Elvis is still alive eating peanut butter sandwiches in South America somewhere. I mean,
it's like, what are we going to the planes have flown off into outer space that go fly all over the world, right?
I literally just saw a video earlier today of someone who was swearing up and down that Michael Jackson was still alive, and they saw him walking down the street.
I'm sure he'd be walking down the street, and
he was just moonwalking.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And as paranoid as he was of all the germs and everything, I can tell you the one place he would not be doing is moonwalking down the middle of the street.
Right.
Not unless he's covered in a big bubble wrap suit or something, because he was like, no way. He's not, and that would take a lot of money to be able to live that lifestyle. Guys, until it happens to you, it's hard to wrap your mind around. Even if you want to believe it, you're hoping to believe it until you physically or emotionally and mentally all at the same time have something really significant happen. You're just not going to really be able to say 100% one with it. Once it does, your entire life changes.
Definitely.
Because you're going to be like, I got to find out how the heck am I going to prove this? I got to get other people that can see this. Yep. And then everybody kind of gets the heebie-jeebies, and this is different. It's like, okay, you are legally registered as a haunted location, and this is why. And we can put that data on there, and like the Myrtles Plantation, or the McRaven House, or those places down there in South Florida. We were talking about going down and visiting. Mm-hmm. And it's a certification. This is a real haunted place. This is how we can prove it. This is how we did it. And at that point, once you can do that, we can call it pretty much whatever we want. I called it Phantomology because it's based on the Greek language, which is kind of what you do with a new science. You base it on the Greek words, and like one's to study, that's urology, and the phantom comes from phantasms, which is why I call it Phantomology. I mean, kind of a no-brainer there, but what else are you going to call it? I'm not going to call it the paranormal because it's not beyond the normal.
Right.
It's been normal since the beginning of time. And the people who are in the wrong are the ones that keep saying it's not.
Right.
ESP, psychic stuff, our minds are capable. We don't have extrasensory perception. It's just that some people are more dialed in. Traditionally, a lot women, almost 2 or 3 to 1 than men, will have some type of psychic ability. If your mom ever had a really bad feeling about you, thought you got hurt, and you get home and you actually had been like in an accident or something happened to you at school or whatever, and they're like, they're so glad that you're there. That's that sense. If they lock in on who we are because they love us, and that makes that bridge. Men, not so much. Seems gay men seem to have this ability too. Probably more because they're in touch with their feminine side.
Hear that, Kevin? I'm more psychic than you are.
Hey, I mean, you know me. I'm the least psychic person, and I'll always say it.
So our brains aren't really that sophisticated because we have so much crap that we have put on us that we dumb down our brains because we don't want to know what the scary stuff is. We don't want to open ourselves up to that.
Right. I think all the time when people are just, I'm out in public, I'm at Publix or shopping or doing whatever I'm doing, and I think, how many people here are thinking about the afterlife? Probably not many. But,
No. At the same hand, that is something you better be planning for because your energy is going to continue on.
Right.
So maybe when you get there, you just go like, you know what? I don't want to be here. Just disperse, and all your energy molecules go somewhere else. Excuse me.
And that could
the
be,
ones that are here want this.
And I was going to say, like, the dispersing, that could be why, this place could be haunted by the same person that this place is haunted by. That was just a random thought that came in my mind too. Like, that's how, because, there are instances where, this home may be haunted by this guy, the father, grandfather, great-great-grandfather, whatever. And so is the business or the building that he built or worked at all his life or whatever.
Sure.
Right. Well, you have those places, like,
right.
Where, that are hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of miles apart, that are supposed to be haunted by the same spirit, same individual. Marilyn Monroe said to haunt all over the darn place.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How is that possible? That would be an interesting experiment to do. Have people set up in those locations at the same time and see if they can communicate
with the same person.
The same person.
That'd be extremely interesting.
Well, now here's the other, like, mediums will tell you, look, just so you know, before we start this, we can't make the dead talk to us. The dead get to choose who they want to talk to, which is probably why we don't ever, when we lose somebody we love, they don't come to us, because actually with them in our world near us enough where they could affect us, that would really be harmful to us. Somebody loves you, they're not going to harm you.
Right.
Then the spirits, they get to draw energy from you. And guess what energy they're using? They're using your life force, drawing that away. So they're like a parasite. People that love you don't come to you until you need them in your time of need. The need is more important for them to be there to reassure you, to protect you, to help you make decisions. And then they'll back off and they leave, just like a parent would. It's like, well, my kids are going to have to do this. I'll give them some advice if they listen, which they probably won't.
Right.
But give it to them, and then I'll be there with the safety net when they need it, and then I'll be there to pick them up. I don't think it changes once you get to the other side. I think, and then once your work is done there, then you get to retire on the other side too, because now the children that you raised, all the things that you've done, once everything that you've affected in your lifespan ends and you're no longer affecting anybody, you get to retire in the afterlife. And then the next generation's coming through. Your kids will still have to deal with all their stuff and their decisions, and which is why you got to really probably want to behave a whole lot when you're alive and help other people as much as you can. I mean, don't go broke, do stupid stuff, but just like the living, you're going to attract negative people if you're a negative person. Druggies attract druggies. Criminals will attract criminals to them because that's who they'll hang out. Positive people hang out with positive people. Happy people with happy. We all find our own little groups.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like that when you get to the other side, because it's an energy that still continues on. So if you're a jerk in this, just because you can avoid all of it and you just treat people really bad, doesn't mean that when you get to the other side, you can have a great afterlife. You're going to attract the same people you did on this side. And religion out of it completely. This is about what do you want? Do you want to keep making your life miserable and hard, or you want to try and find a way to be happy? And what did you do to make it a better life all the way through when you start getting to like my age? You start looking back and going, man, I wish I'd done that different. I wish that I thought I knew. I wish I had the experience. It's like I'm getting ready to start a charity because I just feel like I should have done more to help others. And so that I'm going to try and do that. I don't know what's involved in it, and I'm not doing it so I can get into heaven or build brownie points. I'm doing it for me. I want to feel good about who I am.
There you go.
And I want to set an example for my children and for people that are around me that see me. And that personality, that's my personality. That's the part that's significant when I get to the other side. I'm not doing it for money or fame or power. I don't need any of that.
It's like you said, like that type of energy is contagious,
It is. And it follows you.
Right.
And you walk in our room and if you've ever been in those places, and I know we've all been there, where everybody's just having a great time and it's fun and there's such really good, positive people there. And then you go to some other place and it's just like, you feel like you just walked into a place where you want to put your back to the wall. You're in there for about 5 minutes and you're like, man, this place is sketchy. I'm out of here. I do not want to be in this place. And you think, why did I feel like that? And it's so obvious. And that's the energy those groups are putting off. And you can feel it in that. That's real easy to find. So for us to say, well, no, you couldn't be a ghost on the other side. Well, that's your energy. That's there. And when you see spirits, depending on the spirits, they're there too, because that's where all their energy is. So if you were a party animal, and pretty good person and all, you may not want to go over to the other side so much. You're going to hang out in your favorite bar where all the people are wild and they get too drunk and they're dark and miserable, like biker bars that might not be very good to be in. You could draw all that that energy right off of them. And those people can't do anything about it. They're just wasted. They don't know.
Right.
And, so I think it travels with us. It's a philosophy. It's an odd philosophy, but it's the most sensible one I can come up with. I wonder how many times I've walked through major cities or downtown or through a store, and what if one of the people I just saw in the store really wasn't alive?
Yeah,
How would I
that's
know?
definitely a possibility.
And I got my walk up and go, poke him in the chest, go, "Hey, are you alive?"
I can see where that could be frowned upon in some situations.
I poked a billion people in the chest, but the billionth and first, I went right through them.
Yeah.
You're never going to believe this. I made a career of poking people in the chest. But
there are reports like
100% right.
Oh yeah, those ships, like the warships, and they'll see Navy officers on the ship, and they'll talk to them and they'll explain stuff, and all of a sudden they'll go, and it's like, man, the crewmen down there were fantastic. I really appreciated you guys there, and the staff is sitting there looking. I'm like, there's nobody on board but you. We're all standing. There's only three of us here.
Same with like their reenactments at forts or whatnot. But it's funny that you mentioned the ships, the USS North Carolina, and I feel like we mentioned this battleship on several podcasts, for several episodes. But that is actually where I saw my first apparition, full body apparition, and our very next time that we went, Corey, Molly, Liz, I think Tracy as well. They all saw a full body apparition. So definitely 100%, those battleships, old forts, battlefields, what have you. There is so many witnesses of like, oh, that reenactor was super nice, or that person working at the bottom of the ship down there, he was really helpful, or they were really in character. And they're like, that wasn't one of us. Nobody's here but you.
Right.
Well, if you think about it, and here's where I've noticed this, everything that is like this, and I'm going to show the parallel where, like in the home, these guys did this job. They were dedicated to this job. This is what they did every day, whether they're in the forts, in the military. So this routine was just nonstop all the time. There's a set of rules they followed, same behavior, same thing, same wherever they had to walk guard, the whole thing. Ship, same thing. This is my spot. This is my space. This is what I do all the time. Right. Now you go into a home. Okay. So how can you compare that to a naval ship? Well, where do we see most of the activity? Kitchens, stairways, and bedrooms. Yep. Hallways, especially hallways. Always something going on a hallway, which is the same as a stairway. It's just a hallway going up or down. This is a behavior. We're creating a behavior.
You're creating a pattern.
And that's getting embedded each and every time just because of our presence. You have a really strong personality, it's probably going to be embedded more. Naval ship, you're really dedicated to your job, or you really hate your job and you're trapped here. So all this energy is just getting embedded, and then, oops, now you're not here no more. You're on the other side.
Yeah, and with the battlefields and Navy ships or the forts or whatever, there's so much emotion while you're there, because there's that fear, there's that camaraderie with like your fellow soldiers that you're living with for this time. And so that becomes your home for however long you're there, and you are so dedicated to what you're doing at these places that same energy. So that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
So this goes back to how I came up with all these ideas is we're looking for patterns, social behavior patterns. And I think once we start identifying the patterns, then it's easy to monitor them. Yeah. You can track the behavior. What was it? The guy with the dog, and he cut it open, he was watching it, and he realized the dog, every time the dog saw food, he'd solidify. He sounded like drooling on himself. And salacious, and just like, and this is what we use to teach people now in schools. It's the same mentality. And look how it went from watching the dietary, and the tract inside a dog's stomach to teaching people how to learn. And I mean, Pavlov's series, and that's where that comes from. Russian scientist, and he just realized, here I'm sitting here watching a dog, and I feed him, and I watch the poop go all the way through and digest and come back out the other end. Every time the dog sees it, he's like, man, I want some. And he's drooling. And then he was actually teaching the dog how to do different things just by using the food.
Right.
So there's your pattern again. So the dog, start teaching it this. Hey, how could we use this? So now we're talking about behavioral research. He kept testing this theory separately from what he was actually doing. And then he managed to channel it into human beings. And now the whole world learns like this. They were doing it probably before, but nobody ever called it that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you got a nice touch with teaching these kids, where the other person comes in and smacks them, hits them with a ruler, maybe it's a nun, it's like psychopath with a big ruler, and you get hit from the side. So it's like, learn because you want to, the one that's inspiring you to learn and you like really love learning, or the person that's like beating you to death with a wooden stick to get you to learn. And the patterns are there.
Right. So we're running out of time. Before we go, I should have done this in the beginning. Tell a little bit about yourself. Like, I know you have degrees and all that stuff, and then let everyone know if they can find you anywhere, or how they can keep up with your studies and your experiments, because I think it's really fascinating. We're going to stay, we stay in contact as it is. So I'd love for people to be able to follow along.
Well, give me a sec here. When I was a kid, I was like 5 years old, and my mom and my dad are Catholic. My dad, before he met my mom, was actually a Jesuit priest. So, and then whatever happened when I was little, they ended up getting a divorce after they got married. So there's a big thing in the house. Catholic people, they're just like, everything, you got to talk to saints and stuff. And my dad was like that right up till the day he died. He was like 100%, a little overboard. But one day we came home and we had a picture of Jesus on the wall. I think every Catholic family has one, or at least in about 5 million crosses. And the picture on the wall had changed. Jesus' hands were a completely different place. And I can still see it to this day. The picture changed completely. And when I told my mom, I said, that picture changed. It's not the same picture that we had before. And she realized it. And I realized then, why do I have this sense? Why am I noticing this? I mean, I'm talking like I'm like 5. I'm still watching, cartoons on Saturday mornings, which I wish they'd bring back, because that was like always fun.
Yeah.
But Roadrunner Coyote. But from that point on, by the time I got to 10, I was really curious about all of that. And at 10, because we didn't have videos, we didn't have like 1,000 channels and everything. And I mean, you had a library. That was it. Or whatever you could do at your house. If you could figure stuff out on your own, great. I spent my time in the library. And I read all of Hans Holzer's books. Every single one that he wrote about ghosts. I must have read them 2 or 3 times. And I was writing notes. I mean, like, I'm 10 years old. 10 years. I mean, I guess I was a geek.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I was really, really interested. And I remember when I was 5, we watched it on TV where he was at the Whaley Mansion, which is in Old Town, which wasn't that far from our house. And he'd gone in there, and a bunch of stuff happened in there. And a friend of his from the past came through that had passed away. And they saw a bunch of stuff inside the Whaley Mansion. And that stuck with me right up till I was 10. And then from then, I investigated the Whaley Mansion. Man, I was so scared, terrified. But eventually I got over it. And I've been doing that now, investigating, I guess, just reading and learning about all these different places all over the world, and it's always been a part of me. Hobby, I don't know. I got into history, so skip ahead. I got into law enforcement over years, got hurt, ended up going back to school. I got married. Being a cop's a lousy job for somebody married. It's awful. Went ahead, went back to school so I could get out of that. Got a master's in psychology. I got a master's in criminal justice and a master's in education. Couldn't do any police work because of my back. And so I taught for 6 years at the university, psychology. COVID hit. It's when I got my grants and stuff. And then I lost everything because COVID hit and the university laid everybody off. And anything that was any type of research got shut down right then and there. Unless it was COVID related, nothing. I had to find work. And that's how I ended up over there in Florida with you guys teaching U.S. history and science at a middle school. And I retired and we came back, and a couple of weeks ago, my wife got diagnosed with, cancer. I was telling you about that.
Yeah.
B-cell lymphoma. So Monday we start the chemo, and I'm working on that. And then to keep myself from going crazy and worrying to death about all that going on, I'm doing my paranormal stuff, with all my little parts and building my sensors. I got a PCB board I'll be building probably in January or February, where all the sensors will be built in. So at some point, if people want to get this, it'll be available to them. For whatever I'm paying for it, plus whatever the shipping is. So it's not like I'm going to go make $1 million off of everybody. Right. My idea is that if we can get this out to more and more groups, they can do this research. They have the same equipment come from the same person. We have that consistency across. And then with the instructions, if they follow that and they do the data collecting, we can confirm independently, which is exactly what science is about. So I'll give you the website. Let me move my screen here a minute, and I'm going to show you guys. I haven't even put the website together yet. I'm working on it.
And make sure you text me the website as well, and your YouTube channel, because you do have a very interesting YouTube channel. I encourage people to go visit your channel, give you a subscribe, follow, and then, like I said, that way they can follow you and stay up to date.
I appreciate that. Let's see if I can pull my. I think I named it .org. Pretty sure. All right. Now, I have not built the website. So let me pull this over here, and then I'll share this page. It says 404 not found. But the website, it's there already. And this is what we want, so that you'll know to keep it there. And so let me share. Sharing is not turned on. Oh, you got to turn on a share. So did you get it?
Yep.
All right. So hopefully, that's what I'm sharing. Did it show up?
Nope.
Yeah, it didn't show up. That's weird. Okay. Let's try it again. Perfect. All right. So I see now. Here we go. Can you see that now?
No, sir.
Sure.
There it goes.
All right. So let me make this bigger. So you'll see the website up here, and it's a secure website. I just haven't built the website for it. If anybody has some ideas about how I should do this, I'd love that.
I might be able to help you out a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I can get templates and stuff, but I'm just kind of, how do I want to organize this? And so Phantomology.org.
Simple enough.
I mean, it doesn't, yeah. So
once you get that up and running, I'll even put it on the Kappa website, a link to it.
Oh, I appreciate it.
And that way people can, just come to our site, click on it, and go through. Again, I'll put it down in the show notes or in the description if you're watching here on YouTube. And also I'll put your YouTube channel description
I
with link
appreciate that.
in
Thanks.
our show notes and all that stuff. Mike, it has been a pleasure talking to you.
It's
It's
fun.
always good talking to you. We'll have to do it again
Yes,
sometime.
Absolutely.
absolutely, Mike.
And
Hope we'll have you back on, and wonderful speaking with you. And
Yeah.
sending the best to your wife.
yes,
All of
absolutely.
our
Thank you.
thoughts and good vibes. She's going to pull through
Oh, I
everything.
appreciate that. There's
So,
one last thing. I almost forgot about. Depending how things work out with my wife over the next 6 months, because that's what the treatments are going to be taking. During the next 6 months, I am going to a travel agent school to start arranging trips to England to the castles, the haunted castles. Because I was on Reddit and I mentioned that, and I had such a high response from that to like where you go over and you're going in and you're in there, and to have stuff like the equipment that I'll do would be perfect. So being able to set it up as a tour guide, and I've got a company that's hiring me already as soon as I'm ready to go in. So that may be something that'll show up on the website also. If people are interested, it's not going to be like I'm going to try and rip you off for every cent. It's going to be like go if you could stay at the place, that's fine, or maybe someplace close by. Low cost.
so what you're saying is you can
Most of
help
us in this
Kappa go
not.
worldwide.
I said that. I did say that, didn't I? Oh, yeah. Well, I guess yeah. I did say that. So yeah, that would be perfect.
Well,
But hey, man, I
definitely
love the chance we got to spend.
yeah,
All
thank
right.
you so much, Mike. We really appreciate it. Wonderful talking to you.
All right.
Yeah, I hadn't had a chance to talk to you before, but I feel like I know you from, the Discord and stuff.
Oh
and
yeah, absolutely.
been following along. People have questions. I'm sure they can ask you guys about stuff on there too.
Yes,
So we got
sir.
all types of stuff. UFOs. Let's see, what else was it? The cryptoids and all different types of
Absolutely.
stuff in there. So,
Yep. I love
so
the
for all you out
the
there,
plug for our
don't.
Discord. Yep.
Yeah, there you
Join the
go.
community. Hang out with us. We're all there. Mike is there.
I'm there.
We're all
I'm always there. I just kind of watch everything, but if I see something, I'll hop in there and answer questions too.
There we go.
All
Love
right,
it.
guys.
All right,
Merry
bud.
Christmas.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Take care, buddy.
Take
Yep,
care.
give Tracy a big hug for me and the kid.
Definitely.
Bye, guys. Merry Christmas. Bye bye.
All right, and we are back. Always a pleasure talking to Mike. He's a smart guy, such a great guy.
Yeah,
And he brought up a lot of interesting topics.
I love the point. He made some great points there. And I love how much effort he's putting into it. We need more of that in the community.
Yeah.
I think the more of that, we can become a more well-rounded and a more respected community.
Which should be the goal too. I mean, and also
Absolutely.
everybody needs to be on the same page because there's also that in the field.
We are all we're on
all
different
one team.
chapters. Yeah,
We're all
towards
one
the same.
team, just different acronyms.
Yep, that's how it goes.
But
Well,
so Corey, where can they find you?
you can find me, Corey Beam, on pretty much everything social. And I'll remember, if you have anything you want to tell us, you can still message us at intotheparanormalpod@gmail.com. If you have anything interesting to talk about, or join our Discord, even easier.
Yep. And you can find me and Kappa and all things internet related at Kappa Paranormal. Visit the website, kappaparanormal.com. Like he said, join the Discord, join the community, join the discussion. We're all there. Follow the Facebook page, Kappa Paranormal, or Coastal Atlantic Paranormal Association. I'm sorry. And easier, it's on the link on our website. It's all right there. Follow me, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff, Kappa Paranormal or Kevin Leonard. I'm all right there. with that being said, I have been Kevin Leonard. That has been Corey Beam. And this has been Into the Paranormal.
Take care, guys. Thanks for coming. We'll see you soon.